What's up, y'all? It's Alex from Swamp Rat Fishing here. How you guys doing? Tonight, we're going to tie 2 swim jigs. These have been my most productive in the fall. But before we get to that, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification. Let's hit that intro. All right, guys. So what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to do the stocked Rainbow Trout swim jig imitation that I do. And then we're also going to do a bluegill special. Both these have been very productive, both in different ways. The Rainbow Trout, I've been rocking that one with a paddle tail swim bait on the back of it, and it's been just killing it. And then the bluegill special, I've been throwing a Rage Menace on the other one. So let's drop down below. Let's start kind of putting these skirts on. But before we hit that, whoo-hoo, cold beverage. All right, let's see how to do this, huh? All right, guys, here we are taking a top-down look at what we're gonna do here. So the first one is gonna be a 1/4 ounce swim jig. This is an albino color in the Super Shake. You can get this jig head on Lure Parts online. And if you guys start doing this, I highly recommend a little pad and paper, just so you can write down your recipes, just so you can remember what you're doing here. So for this one, and again, all these skirts, everything that I got here is going to be on Lure Parts online. So the first one we're going to layer down is the Rainbow Trout color. Does not matter when you're laying out right now on whether the first color you're putting is going to be on the top or bottom. You just kind of want to build your framework. The second one's going to be a white silver scale. And the last one is going to be Tennessee shad. All right, so we're going to run this through. Try to get as center as possible. Not always necessary though. And we'll run it through the tool. Run about halfway. Then roll your head down. The skirt collars, some folks like to add color. Doesn't really matter to me, to be honest. And then we will snip the heads here, or the heads of the tabs, I should say. All right, so there we have is the skirt. When we get done, I'm going to show some up close. So when you drive this through, what you're going to want to do is make sure you're bringing it through where the bulk. So if this is your skirt, right, you're going to want to drive this through the one where you have the most skirt material. That'll just make sure that you have enough flow to come back over the collar and look nice and full on the back end. So for this one, we're going to do as best as possible to get as much of that Rainbow Trout color towards the top end. And we'll run this up and over. You want to make sure you don't bind up. I mean, it's going to happen eventually, but you want to make sure you don't bind up as many of these fibers, this skirt material as possible as you're coming up and rolling that collar over. So to help with that, I do like to grab the 2 ends here and pull. We'll see. Sometimes it doesn't work too well. It all depends on the collar and the jig itself. Not even close. Man, they are super tight today. Let's see what we can do here. So when they get tight like this, I find it helpful. So you don't want to roll it too much because it's going to bind up the fibers. But when it's being this difficult, you kind of have no other choice. But then, I mean, it's good that it's this difficult because it means that these collars are going to last longer. And there we go. Now we're up on it. So we'll have to do a little bit of work to Make sure we have no binding. And I do like to rotate it around. And there we go. What we have here is a nice rainbow trout jig head. So let's take some looks below, and then we'll move on to the bluegill one. All right, rainbow trout's done. So let's move on to the bluegill special. This one's a little bit more advanced, I guess you could say. We'll see. So again, we're gonna start with a layer, a full tab. So this one, we're gonna use half tabs throughout it. So just get accent colors, but still keep base colors. The last one was just straight 3 full tabs. So this one's a little different. So we're gonna start with a full tab of this watermelon red. And then we're gonna do a baseline in the middle here of Junebug. That's in a Junebug scale. And then we're gonna do a chartreuse black scale. Then we're gonna do a orange red scale. And then finally a matte blue, light blue. So there's more tabs on this one. So it's gonna be a little bit more difficult to run it through your tool. Just take your time with it and you should be all right. I do like to fold it kind of, right? And pull a little bit and make sure all your parts get in there, because once you start pulling with these half tabs, there's not a lot of silicone there, so you could potentially break it. And then when you're pulling it through here, last time you could just kind of all the way through. This one you're gonna have to go a little bit slower. You don't want to put too much pressure on this with those half tabs, because you'll snap that tab off. About the halfway mark, roll your tab down or your collar down, exit it from the machine. And then cut your tabs at the end. And we'll do it again on this side. So on this one, I want to make sure that the blue, we got a little stuck tab here. I want to make sure the blue and the orange is on the bottom of it. I want my green Junebug towards the top. Ooh, remember I was telling you guys about go through the thicker end? I almost messed myself up there. So again, through the thicker end, the one way I have more skirt on the collar. I mean, if you do it exact 50%, you should be all right, but I always go a little bit more than 50%, so. And so this jig head is again a super stroke. This is in a bluegill color, but this is gonna be 3/8 ounce, a little bit heavier. And rotate that a little bit. And that just looks fantastic. So let's get a up close look at this one, and then we'll move on. All right, folks, so that's how I do my custom swim jig skirts. If you guys liked it, definitely like, subscribe. If there's any patterns you'd like to see or anything else you'd like to see, definitely let me know in the comments. Make sure to answer every single comment. I'm just a normal guy out there, so I'll get to all of them. But other than that, tight lines, folks.